Bez Hashem. Okay, we're up to the Mishnah on Pei Gimel Amid Beis. The Mishnah on Pei Gimel Amid Beis. Hamoiche Roish Behema Gasa Leimachas Reglayim. We're discussing when you purchase something, stam. So if you purchase the Roish stam, you don't get the legs. It seems to be Pasha, but we'll see that there's another pshat by Behema Daka. Machas Reglayim Leimachas Roish. Each one of these is chashiv bifnei atzma. So the reglayim would not be included in the roish, and the roish would not be included in the reglayim. Machares hakana. If you sell the kana, usually is the trachea. We say over here it's the lungs. The trachea is connected to the lungs. Le machares hakaved. So with that, the liver is not included. Machares hakaved le machares hakana. This is by a behema gasa. Aval bedaka by a small livestock. Machares haroish machares reglayim. The reglayim are a tuffle. They are in I don't know, the tuffle.
Secondary.
Secondary is a good word. They're secondary to the roish, and therefore they will be included in the sale of the roish. However, conversely, machas reglayim, if you sell the secondary, the feet, loy machas roish, and then sell the roish. Machas hakana, machas hakaved. I guess the kana with the lungs are more chashiv. Kenny will tell you that in Yiddish, lung is lingle. They used to go ahead lingle. People ate that stuff years ago. People ate organ meat. Lingle, yeah. I still remember. I still remember being on my table. I don't remember eating it, but I still remember being on the table. Lingle, yeah. So if you sell the behemedaka, the kana included in that would be the kaved. Machras kaved loy machras kana. Okay, so that's the first part of the Mishnah. The Gemara does not even discuss that. Gemara is interesting. The Gemara does not discuss lungs or livers or any of that, or eggs or none of that. But
the good stuff.
Yeah. Arba midais b'moichem. There are four halachas in moichem, and this is going to be a challenging sugya. The arba midas b'moichem. Chitim yafais. The lekeach is under the impression he's getting chitim yafais. He's under the impression he's getting good wheat. The nimsu rois, and it turns out to be lousy wheat. Or halokeach. In that case, halokeach yachalachsabai. The lekeach is able to go ahead and return. The lekeach is able to go ahead and return. If you notice on this mission, there's a lot of very nice, healthy rambans. A lot of nice, healthy Rashbams. And predominantly, it deals with the halachas of Oinah. So I'm going to say it now, and I'll repeat it again later. Oinah, we learned in Masechta Bava Metzia, in the fourth Perek HaZahav. There's three levels of Oinah. If you overcharge more than a sixth, the deal is off. The deal's finished. Under a sixth, there's Mechila, deal is on. Exactly a sixth. Now, the Mishnah said you could either keep the deal and repay the sixth, or you can say the deal's off, and we could treat a sixth like what? Like over a sixth. We don't paskin that way. We paskin that exactly a sixth, the deal is on, and whoever was cheated over the sixth goes ahead and gives it, repays it. Okay, that's how we paskin. This Mishnah is, however, this case has nothing to do with that because you fooled him. This is the Mekach twice. If you look at the Rashbam fellas, count down where it gets wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines down. The first word is on the line, the iu spirale, kirevi nasin. Afilu hachi hacha gabe yafais v'nim surois. If you go ahead and you're under the impression that you're buying wheat that is yafe, that is good, v'nim surois, and you find it's poor quality, kuli alma, everyone will be moida, even though there's machloikas by Ainah, kuli alma moida the yachal achsa. Everyone would be moida over here. You would be able to go ahead and go back on the deal. Shari here too, because you fooled him. So in this case, the lekeach would be able to go ahead and go back on the deal and tell the meicher, you know what, I don't want this.
This has to be no, or just he's getting something.
Right. So again, so he introduces Ainah because of the Gemara.
Okay.
So, but I'm saying is don't make a mistake over here and think this is Ainah. It's not, because he thought he's buying good wheat and it's not good wheat. Mekach twice. So that's what he's in. Kul alma. You didn't want to buy rois. Aval gabe oino shtus shekona masheroitzel liknois. But by oino, where you do purchase and you acquire what you want to acquire, v'lekosh lushim tois elamachiris yoiker, and there's no mistake. There's just you were overcharged. Hasam machzer oino. They're the deal. You return the oino. We should nechsiv al toino. Aval amekach kayim kereb nasin. So the Rashbam is making the chilik between this Gemara and Oina, and then as Dov said so clearly, it's a mistake. You didn't want this. I thought I was getting this, and I didn't get this. By Oina, you got exactly what you wanted to get. You just overpaid, but you got exactly what you wanted to get. Over here is not. So therefore, it says that he's able to go ahead and change. The loikeach can, but the moicha cannot. Rois v'nimtzu yafais. He thinks he's buying rice, and Nimsa the Moicha went ahead and sold him Yafais. Moicha Yachalachsa by the Moicha can go ahead and change his mind. Right? The Moicha can change his mind. Rice for Nimsa rice, Yafais for Nimsa Yafais, Einechem Yachalachsa by. You got exactly what you wanted. Okay. Shechamsis v'nimsas levana. You think you're buying red wheat, and it turns out to be white wheat. Levana v'nimsas shechamsis. You think you're buying white wheat and it turns out to be red wheat. Eitzim shel zayis v'nimsa shel shikma. You think you're buying olive wood and it turns out to be a sycamore wood. Shel shikma v'nimsa shel zayis v'nimsa, right? Shel zayis. Yayin, you're under the impression you're buying wine v'nimsa chaymetz, and you purchase vinegar. Chaymetz v'nimsa yayin shtem yicham lachsabay. So we have 4 dinim. Okay, the first two, if you under the impression that you're buying high quality wheat and it turns out to be low quality wheat, and again, I guess the price is the price. In other words, you buy $100, you get $100 worth, but it's not what you want. Conversely, if the Michael mistakenly gives you want a lower quality and gives you higher quality, then the Michael could change his mind. If they give you exactly what you wanted, no one could change their mind. And if it's a complete, you wanted one thing, and you give something else that it's totally something else, then both can go ahead and see. In the first case, it's wheat and wheat. It's inferior or not inferior, but it's the same thing. Mashain came the last case, it's not what you wanted at all.
Did the Malka misrepresent what he's giving him?
Oh, but we'll see in the Gemara. We'll see in the Gemara the half meaning of the Gemara. Okay, so again, the din of Ainah, guys. Now, the din of Ainah, this exactly a 6. Exactly a 6. We paskin like Rav Nassim, that you get the deal's on, you give it back. The Rav Chisda is going like the Stam Mishnah. This is we don't pass like that Stam Mishnah, which is very odd. The Stam Mishnah says you have a choice. The Stam Mishnah says you have a choice. You could either go back on the deal, or just keep the deal and pay the 6th. Now we all said a machlokes there between Rav and Shmuel. Exactly, it was the first plot there in Azov. Exactly where the oina is. It's in the object or the money. So according to Rav, let's say you paid. The true value was 6, and you sold it for 7, so therefore the oino was in the object. Shmuel says, let's say you have a 6 of the price paid. The item was worth 5 or 7, and you paid 6, so the oino was in what you paid. So that was machlokes Rav and Shmuel. So Rav Chisda is going to go away with Shmuel. Rav Chisda, machaloi shava chamesh b'shisha. Something's worth 5, and you go ahead and you sell it for 6. So who was nisana? The lekeach. The lekeach was nisana. Now, the hooker, it goes up in price for Amin al Shmoina. Now, so what does the Meicha want? Meicha says, hey, this is great. Let's go back and let me get it back. I can get more for it now, right? So minisana lekeach, and the Meicha wants to go back on the deal because again, now it's worth more, like inflation. Lekeach yachalachse boiv leMeicha. The lekeach can go ahead and change his mind, but not the Meicher. Leikeach can change his mind, but not the Meicher. The Amar Lei, because Leikeach can tell the Meicher, Ilu Loi, it's the Lashon, Ilu Loi Oinisan. If you didn't go ahead and trick me, Lehavi Matzis Hadra B'cha, you won't be able to go ahead and change. You won't be able to change. Hashta Doinisan Matzis Hadra B'cha. Now that you want to be able to change. Now, guys, what? It's a very funny spar over here. Why in the world would you think the Meicher could go ahead and change? We make a deal. I go ahead, I buy something. Again, we're going according to the opinion that if you're overcharged, the one who's overcharged can void the deal. So I go ahead and I buy from Penny an iPad. So Penny, I want an iPad. I buy an iPad from Penny, and now he overcharged. The overcharge is exactly a sixth. Okay, it's $50 iPad. He gets it for $60. Okay, now all of a sudden iPads go to $100, and he says, "Hey, Rabbi, I want to avoid the deal." Why would you think Penny could avoid the deal? I was the one that was overpaid, right? And he should be able to avoid the deal. So says the Svara, listen to the Svara of the Rashbam, guys. The deal is voidable. It makes like it's not set in stone that the deal is done. Since I can void the deal because I was overcharged, it kind of says that this deal is not complete yet. If it's a complete deal, then of course he won't have a foot to stand on. But since I can void the deal, there's a svara to say that Penny could also void the deal, that it's not etched in stone yet, because again, it's avoided. So good, it's only mitzad me, it's voidable. But look at the whole deal on the iPad. If you look at the iPad, it's a voidable iPad, machmas me. So there is such a svara to think that Penny could avoid it. Kamash Malon, I tell Penny, had you not overcharged me, you won't be able to avoid it. Now, because why it goes, you overcharged me, you should get rewarded for that. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Okay, it's a shver svara, but here I'll show. What? It's not a mekach tois. You got exactly what you wanted. I wanted an iPad. I got an iPad. Mekach tois is where you want a Peterborough, a truck called Peterborough. Peterbilt, right? And you end up getting Volvo. That's a mistake. But if you overcharge the Peterbilt, you got what you wanted. Mendy, that's the difference between a mekach tois. Again, it's important to hear. Mekach tois is where you don't get what you want, right? Over here, you're getting what you want. You're just overpaying for it. The iPad was the iPad. Again, that's the deal. So if you look at the bottom of the Rashbam, fellas, on the last line on the Amid Beis, the last line on the Amid Beis, two lines up, towards the end of the line. Like Hilkach, Yachal Asabai, like Kech can change his mind. Kol Shosha Yirtze, as long as he wants. Mitoich Samana Kotzav Light. Remember, guys, you might remember till the time he goes to show it to somebody, and because he obviously he's not such an expert. So by the Lokech, this man is the time he goes to show it to somebody. Avaloi Meicher, the Meicher can't go back on the deal. Shehu Hoya Misane. He was the one ma'ana. He was the one who overcharged. The yode al tachtoina, and he has the lower hand. The afal pi, guys, here I underline this. The afal pi shalein iskayim hamepkach adayin kishechaza v'nisane gamu. So in other words, even though the mekach wasn't kayim yet, why? Because the other guy can change his mind. So since I can change my mind, you have such a svara. That's the svara over here. Built into this difficult Gemara is built into the svara. How could you think Penny could change his mind? Because the iPad went up to 80. He wants to go ahead and change his mind. What right does he have? He cheated me at a 10, and now he should be rewarded. The Havamina is, since I can go back on the deal's not done yet, and therefore you would think he could. Kamash Malon, he can't. Again, I think Rabbi Avi had such a problem with the svara in the first place, but Teretz Ein Nachami is like that. But you need to have a svara. The Gemara has, what's the svara that you think he could, right? He cheats you, and then he should be able to go back on the deal. So it must be the deal. The Rashbam is not complete yet until what? Until it's decided. The Lekeach has time to show it to. I'd have to go home and show it to someone who understands what an iPad goes for. That's this man, Lekeach. The Meicha, when the Meicha is Nisana, he can revert it at any time. That was the Gemara in Azov. Okay, so again, the Amalei top line. I could say to Penny, Iloya Nisan, right? Lahoya Matzis Hadrisbach. Since what? If you hadn't gone ahead and cheated me at all, like Matzis Hadra, you won't be able to go back on the deal. So now, just because what Hashta Doi Nisan Matzis Hadrisbach. Now that you went back, you cheated me. Therefore, you should be able to deal. Okay, Vitana Tuna, and the Mishnah is a raya to this, right? From our Mishnah. Why does the Mishnah say Yafois v'nimtzu rois? If I thought I was buying high quality wheat and it ended up being low quality wheat, right? Since the lekeach was now, it's not an exact sushtel because, as we said, it's not aina, but it's similar. Even the aina, the lekeach, And even though what the mechir chitim went up in price, right, or down in price, it went up in price, and this is the din of Rav Chisda. Okay, if you look at Rashbam, the Tana Tuna, Tana Dido, not Tana Kamayabuna, Velashin Kotzahu, Yafais Venimserois, Hari Nisana Lekeach. I was Nisana, I mean, let's say I bought wheat, Lekeach Yachalachsaboy, Velay Moicha, and Afagav the Hukru, even though it went up in price. The Lahachravusa Itzrich Lemisnaya. In other words, there has to be a chiddush over here. What's the chiddush, says the Rashbam? Even though it went up in price, right? Even though it went up in price, nonetheless, what? He can't go back on the deal. That's it. Even though that's the chiddush. That why would the Meicha want to go back on the deal? Obviously, because he can make more money, right? Why would he want to go back on the deal? Obviously, because he can make more money, and that's the chiddush. So the Mishnah is not exactly because our Mishnah is not speaking about Ainah. Well, says the Gemara Vaita. Former of Chisda, the second din, Machaloi Shava Sheish B'Chamesh. You sold him something that was what? That was 5. It was worth 6, and you sold it for 5. V'chuzlu. Now it's the opposite case. It went down. It's down to 3. V'amdu al Gimel. So minasana Meicher. The Meicher was Asana. It was worth 6, and what he sold it for 5. He's out. He's out that one zuz, and now it's 3. And now Lekeach wants to go back on the deal because he's losing money. Yeah, I might think who's able to go ahead and change the mind? Right? The Amalei, Nisan. If you, the Lekeach, did not trick me by paying less, Lehavi Matzas Hajjach, Hashna Matzas Hajjach. Betana Tuna, the second case of our Mishnah, Royce Vidim Siyafis Machi Yachalach, the boy Lekeach. Fred the Gemara, my Kamash Balon, Masnisani. What's Rav Chisda teaching me? L'chayr, it's a Mishnah. What's Rav Chisda teaching me? L'chayr, it's a Mishnah. Says the Gemara Torah, he's teaching me. Imi Masnisan, Hav Amina, Dilma Rav Chisda, Shravayu Matzi Hajabahu. Maybe what? Both could change their minds. Maybe in fact what? They both, from our Mishnah, you would say, without Rav Chisda, guys, you would say they both could change their minds. Why would you say such a svara? Why would you say such a svara that what? That they both can go ahead and change this minds. Because Masnisan, our Mishnah, is not speaking about Ainah at all. Like Rav Chisda. Our Mishnah is not speaking about Ainah. Our Mishnah is speaking about what? A sale. But it was, but what? But it wasn't what you thought you're getting. And here's the Chiddush. Our Mishnah. The Lekeach Yachalach Saboy. The Lekeach is able to change his mind. Now, why would you think that if it's not speaking about Ainah, if it's speaking about, our Mishnah is not speaking about, guys, our Mishnah is speaking about what? It's speaking about, like we thought, where a guy went ahead and didn't get what he wanted to get. It's a Mekach Tois. But you would have thought they both can change their minds since it's a Mekach Tois. Now, where's the Mekach Tois over here? What did he say to him? What is a guy who buys something, what does he think? He thinks he got a good deal or a bad deal. Usually he's never so happy. The guy who sells it, no matter what junk it is, he thinks it's great. So you might think the Meicha could, so you might think the following. Here's the lashon of the Gemara guys. I'm going to go over in a second. So if I didn't have a Chisda, I would say our Mishnah is speaking about, not I know, it's speaking about a regular case of Mekach Tois. And I would say they both can change their mind. The Saka det Chaminon, Mishum Diksiv, Ra Yoima Hakoina. The one who acquires it says what? It's bad. So in other words, guys, you know what the Meicha could tell Lekeach? What are you going to taina that I sell you something's bad? No matter what I would have told you, you think it's bad. That's what you think. That's what you would think. And Mamela, you think the Meicha can go ahead and change his mind as well. But Kamash Malon from Rav Chisda, right? Kamash Malon Rav Chisda that he can't change his mind. So again, you want a taina. Look at Rashi, guys. He quotes Rashi. Umas Nisan, go down right before he gets medium wide. Go up at 5 lines. Umas Nisan. Our Mishnah is b'deleka ina klal. There's no ina at all. El b'shavein makro. You got $100 worth of lousy wheat. Va'achshav toyin eni chafetz beilu. I don't want lousy wheat. Hilkach b'mecha yafais, we sold him good wheat. V'nim serois, and it turned out to be bad wheat. Yachal lekeach lachsaboy. The lekeach can change his mind. The amalei, because he says yafis b'kashti umechi tois. I wanted what good, and you ended up what it was lousy. אבל אם בו מויכל לאחסר, ולא אם גם אני אחסר, שמקח תויסו, הלקח המלוי, any toist, you didn't make a mistake, שאף אני בחזקס רויס לקחתם. I bought him, I thought it was bad. The Rabbi Yom HaKoinah. Okay? So therefore, the Svara would be, without Rav Chisda, guys, you would say the Mishnah, since it's a Mekach Tois, I would think, what, the whole deal is off. And even the Moicher, since what, the Moicher said, you said Yafa, you meant Ra, the kind of, I didn't trick you, you thought you said Ra. Kamashmal on that what? No. Kamashmal on that the deal is off. Kamashmal on the deal is off. That's the Kiddush of Chisda. Says the Mishnah. The last case was Shechamsis v'nimsa levana. Levana v'nimsa chamsis. The deal is both can change their minds. You wanted red wheat, you got white wheat. You wanted a Peterbilt, and you got a Valvo. Amra Papa. Midiktani levana. When you say that now there's only two types of wheat, guys. There's white wheat, which produces little but higher quality, and red wheat. Right, red wheat, which produces more but not as good quality. So, midiktani levana shmamina. So we know that over here that Hai Shimsha, the sun is sumaktihi, that the sun is red. Now, guys, look at the word shechamsis. Is the shirish is chama. Chama is the Aramaic for sun. So the word chamsis is sun. Well, now it says when you learn levana. Shmamina, Hai Shimsha, Sumaktihi, that the lotion of the sun, which is Chamsis, is red. Teda, because Samkot Safra Upanya. In the morning, it's red, and in the evening, as it sets, it's red. Right? And the reason you don't see the redness during the whole day is the Laibari. So your eyesight is not able to go ahead and clearly see the sun. It's so powerful. So he wants to go ahead and extrapolate from the word chamsis that it means red wheat, that it means red, that the sun is red, because the shayrish of chamsis is chama. During the day, why can't we see it? Because again, it's too bright. So, but you see, it's red by its sunset and by sunrise. Meisive, yes, the kasha. It says by Nagoyim, umareu amak mina or. It says the nega is literally deeper than the skin. What does that mean? Kimara chama amuka minat sail. Just like the sun is the depth of the sun's rays that you see is deeper than the shadows. But hasam lavenhu, and over there the mara nega is white. So how can you tell me it's red? You see that what? We're comparing the nega in the skin to white, to tsaras, which is white. So it must be the sun is white, not red. Says Gemara, Kimara chama v'loi Kimara chama. It's like the sun, it's not like the sun. Kimara chama the oimkim in that sail. It's like the sun that it pales in the shadow. V'loi Kimara chama the ilu hasam lavan b'hacha adam. Okay, now l'chayra, the person who asked this question had a havamina that what? That the sun is white. But how could you just tell me that? You told me by sunset and sunrise it's red. In other words, you had literally proof that it's red. How could you think it's white? You just told me in its comparison to a negat saras, it's white. So it must be white. How can you say it's white? I proved to you it's red by sunset and sunrise. Fred the Gemara, ulamai the solek the daitame cover that it's white. Hakasamkut safra l'panya. It's red in the morning and red in the evening. So why would you think it's right? So the Gemara gives an answer that is beyond my pay grade. Says the Gemara, bit safra in the morning, the cholfe abei vardin the Gan Eden. Really, it's white. You know why it's red? Because it passes by the roses of Gan Eden. So since it passes by the roses of Gan Eden, it looks red. And the other way, the panya in the evening, the chalfa apischa the Gehenim. It passes by what? The opening of Gehenim. The Kedami, others say the other way. So in other words, really it's white, but it passes by things that are red, and therefore in the evening or the morning, right, depending on whether it's Gehenim or Gan Eden, okay, as I say it does.
Physics, the light is composed of 7 colors.
Roy Biv?
Yeah, but it appears as white. When you put it through a filter, you're going to get the color that it's filtered through. So the Gemara actually makes sense. I'm not going to beat my approval.
Anyway, Yayin v'nimtza chaymitz shnei michael lachsabay. You don't want to start a chavrusa shop with him. I'm telling you. Now, Yayin v'nimtza chaymitz So it's wine and it turns out to be vinegar. So you're both going to change your mind. You see that what? It's two separate things. You see vinegar and wine are two separate entities. Good? Because they both can change their minds. Let's say our Mishnah is Rebbe, it's Rebbe, V'loi Rabbanan. Okay? Look at the bottom Rashbam. The kibin the amamin echad hein. Rebbe is going to say it's one thing. Ain't shneim chayzim ela hamasana. The dami lechitin yafais nimtzer rois nimtzer yafais. In other words, fellas, I could view wine vinegar as vinegar, or I can view it as wine vinegar. If you view it as wine vinegar as the same species of wine, then it's no different than a high grade wheat and low grade wheat. It's wheat. So when our Mishnah goes ahead and says it's two separate minim, two separate entities, that must be going ahead and telling us the opinion of the Rabbanan and not Rebbe. Says Lemi Maslisan is Rebbe is according to Rebbe and not the Rabbanan. The Tanya Amid Beis. Yayin v'choymitz min echad. Yayin and choymitz is one min. Now, what halacha are we speaking about? Tap Rashbam. V'im torim mizeh al zeh. And if you separate truma from one on the other, truma, it's a good separation. It's truma. The karina bay very mostly menu. It's considered, and I separating menu from it. The chein le'inyan hoida mimin taina. Regarding the shvua of moedim and mixes, if you guy claims vinegar and you go ahead and be moedim and yayin or vice versa, it would be mimin taina. It's not like chitim and sa'orin. Dem tonu yayin v'chaymitz v'hoida le'be'acham mehem chayev shvua al sheni. The ikay dab mixes taina. So what do you see? That according to Rebbe, so according to Rabbanon, it's one min, Rebbe Yom Shnei minim. And therefore, guys, according to Rebbe, it would make sense. They're two separate minim, it's a mekach tois, it's two separate minim, you can't take off one from the other, and if you might have a mixas, it would not be. So let's say, zustelling that Mishnah, let's zustell it to our Mishnah and say, our Mishnah that says that wine and vinegar are two separate entities is the opinion of Rebbe in that Mishnah, Linyan Truma, that is two separate entities, versus the Chacham say it's one entity. So they would say, the Chacham would say over here, it's one entity as well. It says Gemara, I feel it Rabbanon. You could even say that our Mishnah is according to Rabbanon. Ad kan like pligi Rabbanon law the Rebbe el Linyan Maisu Truma uch the Rebbe law. How do you know if you take off truma from Ra'ala Yafa? Truma Shnemar leisisu alav chet, and don't carry with you a chet. By rimchem eschel b'mimena, when you separate the best from it. And main a kodesh nesias chet lama. If it's not good truma, why is it considered that you did an avera? Mikan l'torim in a Ra'ala Yafa shema truma. Avalin yemeko chememka the kuli alma ikad denichle bechamra v'lenichle bechala v'ikad denichle bechala v'lenichle bechamra. The chacham would be minded that it's two separate minim. Again, there's by truma there's a svara to say that if you take it from bad to good, it's okay, and that's what the chacham hold. If you want vinegar, you don't want wine. If you want wine, you don't want vinegar. So therefore, the chacham will be moided that it's two separate minim in our Mishnah, and therefore you're not locked into saying our Mishnah is only according to Rebbe and not according to the Rabbanan. Okay, what do we know about kinyanim? Let's go through kinyam metaltalin. Is kesef kaina? What? Machloikis, right? Berchen Reish Lakish, right? Rabbi Yochanan, it's kaina, but nisfu chitra ba'aliyah, you're not going to go ahead. Says Reish Lakish, v'chi simku minchlan misecha, kaina miyad misecha, dav nita miyad miyad. So we know that at least the Rabbanan according to Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, that kesef is not going to do the job, and therefore you're going to need a certain kinyanim. So what's we know a little bit. If you have something called meshicha, where you take something and you bring it from the owners of Rishus into your Rishus. So if you have you're on a simta, if you're on the sides of Rishus Rabim, that's an area, if you pull it in, it'll be in your Rishus. Mesira is an animal that you can't pull. That's kind of even Rishus Rabim. But you don't do Mashiach in Rishus Rabim, you don't do Mesira Besimta. Again, every kinyan is what is custom made for its locale. So Mashiach is kind of on the simta on the side. Good. Mm-hmm. Mesira is kind of Rishus Rabim. Hagba is kind of B'chol Makan. Now, if you're a super strong guy and you lift up an elephant, you're not kind of the elephant. No, because again, it's not normal. It's not normal, right? It has to be something normal. So if you have a very, very heavy bag and someone lifts it up, you're not kind of. Okay? So it has to be normal. So now the Mishnah, we're going to have a Mishnah that discusses the kinyanim of metaltalin. Says the Mishnah. HaMoicher peiros l'chaveiroi. Someone is selling peiros to his friend. Moshach, and they set a price. Guys, it's very important. You have to set a price because there's no smichas das. People don't have not samich das unless there's a set price. You have to set a price. So HaMoicher peiros l'chaveiroi. Someone sells peiros to his friend. Moshach, if he does meshicha v'loi modad, but he doesn't measure it, kana, he would be kana. As long as they made up a price, and as long as it's in a place besimta where you could do it, even though what they didn't measure, you kind because measurement is just an amount. Knowing that amount's there, you go ahead, you make up the difference if it's not there. Modad v'loi moshach, if you measure and you're not moshach, loy kana. Modad, if you go ahead and measure v'loi moshach, loy kana, then you would not be kana. Right? Well, again, it could be it depends whose kalim it is. If you look at the Rashbam, Modav le Moshach le Kana, ukigoin shem Modav b'kalim shel Moicher. You went ahead and you measured in the kalim of the Moicher. Ve'niach al gabi simta, and you left it in the simta. Aval, here's the chiddush, Rabbi. Aval Modach v'nas notei kalim shel Keach, Kana kidamina b'Gemara. If you would measure it and put him the kinyan chatzar, the keli of the lekeach, the simta, you would be kind. That's the chiddush. Good. That the chiddush is v'kelev shel kaina would be kaina. Okay, so again, if you moicha peiros without medida, you're kaina. If you medida without mashach, you're not kaina. But it's speaking where the you measured it in the kalim of the moicher, not of the lekeach, because they never left the rishus of the moicher. And if the lekeach is a smart guy, go ahead and rent the place. Rashbam, Sarkas Mekaima, in Bishus Bailam Haim, if they're in the Rishus of the owner, Kidamina Bigamara, Ubishlulfi Ravavi, we'll see what that means. Mukila Bigamara, it's a very big thing, it's a big bag that you can't lift up. Hilkach Katani Ba Mashach, Dein Darkam Hagba, because you can't pick up a big bag. Like Shaykh Mashicha, El Bemidi Lav Bar Hagba. It's only Shaykh Mashicha by something that you can't lift up. In other words, the Gemara is going to tell us if you could lift up something, the way to be koine is lifting it. If you can't be, the way to be koine is what is with mashicha. Okay. No, it's the halachas. Telling us halachas. So it's elaborating the halachas of kinyan. You're not cheating. The guy wants to give it to you. You're not. It's not. It's a business deal. You a pisek the barn. First Rashbam, Rabbi Avi. Amoicha peiros lechaveroi upisek hadamim. You went ahead. You agreed on a price. We're speaking about the kinyan. We're simply speaking about the kinyan. There's no cheating over here. The deal, we agreed on a price, and I'm going to get my price. The shiler is, when is the kinyan chal? When is the manifestation of the kinyan? That's the whole shiler. There's no cheating over here. Back in the Mishnah, halakeach pishtin mechaveiroi. If you lakeach pishtin, which is something you should pick up, harizeli kana ashia lena memakan lemakan. You're not koine until you take it from place to place. It means hagba over here. If you look at Rashbam, Ashit Lena, Klaima, Sheyigbihen, you lift it up. V'yitlim imkomo l'makam acher. It's not, you might think Mashicha would be that you're going out and you're pulling it from place to place. That's the lashon of the Mishnah. It doesn't mean that. It means that you're picking it up and going from place to place. For Urchad and Milsit Nakat, and it's just the way of talking. The Ein Derech Lahagbia Mechroi El Kadei Litloy V'Leilach. You don't pick up something to keep it there. You pick up something to go. So therefore, this means V'Mhoya. So read the Mishnah like this, guys. If it's a heavy thing that you can't lift up, so then you do Mashicha. Haloicha Pishtim, which you could lift up, Harizeli Kana, you're not kind of through Mashicha, only through Agba. Ashiyat Lenu Mimakan Lamakan. V'Mhoya Mechubel Karka, if it's connected to the ground, V'Tolish Kolshu Kana, and the Gemara will explain this. Rav Asi Rabbi Yochanan. Modad, says Rav Asi in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Modad, the Moichi measures it out, the Paris, and in his own kalim, V'niach al gabe simta, and he leaves it on the simta. Now the simta is a place that can be the jurisdiction of both, but it's still in the kli of the Moicher, and the Lekeach made no kinyan whatsoever, fellas. Again, it's in the kli of the Moicher. He measured it out, but the Lekeach made no kinyan whatsoever. In that case, it's kaina. Nonetheless, since it's kaina, it's considered that the moicha left it in the chutzner of the lekeach. In other words, the simta is going to be considered the chutzner of the lekeach, and it'll work. Again, that's the only way to learn possibly how it works. Again, there's no mashicha, there's no masira, there's no akbar, meaning the koina did nothing. The only way to facilitate a kinyan would be that this area is considered, it's in this area, right? The kinyan chatzar. So that's the way Rav Asi would say in Rabbi Yochanan, the measurement of a kli, and it stays in that kli, in the simta yukaina, would be mitayris mat, mitayris chatzar. It would work mitayris chatzar.
It wasn't his clean.
Then it would be kind of kli shalakeyach for sure. This is a much bigger chiddush, even though it's like the meichitz kli. Amalei Reb Zeira Reb Asi, Shema lo shama Rebbe, right? Ela b'maydei l'toich kupasai. Maybe Reb Yochanan did not hear it only if the moicha measures it in the kli of the koina. Aval, but if he leaves in the kli of the moicher, you're not koina. Again, Rav Asi is telling us a chiddush in Reb Yochanan. Reb Zeira is telling Rav Asi, 1 second, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Ela must be what? Must be he measured it, but whose kli did he measure it in? In the lekeach's kli, and then you have a chutzner. So Amalei Rav Asi told Reb Zeira, Dami hai midrabanan k'dei gomer in shishmaitza. It seems like this chacham he never learned Gemara. He never learned how to learn a sugya. If he measures it l'toich kupasei of the koina memra boy, you need to tell me that if he measured in the kli of the lekeach that you koina. That's obviously koina. The chiddush is that the simta, despite the fact that it's in the kli of the moicha, would still work. So again, says Rav Asi, the following chiddush: you're doing a business transaction. You agreed upon money. You measured out apples, and you measured it in the kli of the moicher, and you place it down in the simta, which is the area on the side of the Shus Rabim that Kinyanim are transacted. Says Rav Asi in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, the lekeach is kaina. Lekeach did nothing. He didn't lift it up. He didn't Mashicha, zero. How does it work? It must be the simta is viewed as his chatzar, despite the fact it's in the kli of the moicher. That's what Rav Asi said. Said Reb Zeira, how you talking? Is that possible? Maybe you didn't hear correctly. Maybe it's speaking that he measured in the kli of the lekeach. Now that the kli of lekeach, so that makes sense. It's my kli. It's says Rav Asi. Would you have to tell me that? That's obvious that what the kli is kind of good. So that now kiblamine, the Reb Zeira was makabel the teretz of Rav Asi and say it's kaina, despite the fact it's in the kli of the meicher, or like kiblamine, or he wasn't makabel from it. Toshma dam Rab Yanai, Amar Rebbe, Chatzar Shutfin, and a Chatzar of Shutfin, kaina zemizeh. The Chatzar they can go ahead and be kaina one from the other, and the same thing would apply to a simta. Now, my lav al gabe karka, it's speaking in the simta. It's possible in the kli on the ground, and that's like Rav Asi. So l'chayra, you would be right. So in other words, it's being on the ground is like me being in the simta in the kli of the moicher. So l'chayra, we can be paishit that what like Rav Asi says malai l'toich kupasai of the kaina. It's speaking about in the kli of the kaina. So if it's chatzah of both of them and the kli of the kaina, you'll be kaina. Hachnami Mistabit speaking about what the kli that the merchandise is in the kli of the kaina. The Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Yochanan, Modad v'niach al gabe simta. If Rabbi Yaakov says in the name Rabbi Yochanan, if you go ahead and you sell it and you put it on the simta, like kani not kaina. So l'chayre it's very shver because you have Rav Asi and Rav Yanai both saying it's simply a kaina, and here it says you're not. Elalav shmamina kan. The words Rav Asi Rav Yanai is speaking what it must be speaking at what? That you have the it's speaking that it's in the kli of the koina. The kan and Rabbi Yaakov says you're not koina, must be speaking b'moidel gabi karka. Shmami no, you have a raya that what? That you're not koina if it's in the kli of the meicher, it's in the kli of the meicher, then you will not be koina. If it's the kli of the meicher, you will not be koina. Okay, well we'll pick up the rest tomorrow. Yeah, have it.